So this is gonna be mostly unscripted because I don't really know what I want to say. Um, I feel very passionate about Curry Barker's feature film debut Obsession, and I haven't even seen it yet. In fact, I've been advised not to see it for reasons. The short of it is that it would cause me mental distress, and in all honesty, I don't want to go through that. But I ended up reading a portion of the screenplay out of curiosity the other day. Not a good idea. I found my experience with the screenplay available online very difficult to stomach, which means it does its job as a horror piece. I'm a casual fan of the genre, and when I watch horror, it is mostly real campy and ridiculous. But I've sat through Hereditary. I've seen Get Out, and I loved Eyes Without a Face. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not new to the genre, which seems sort of irrelevant, but I felt like it needed to be said. Back to Obsession though. I think everyone that's clicked on this video already has a general gist of how the movie goes or have already seen it. So I'm gonna make this quick. I'm reading this off of my monitor, so if you see me looking a lot, that's what I'm doing. Some guy called Bear, the sorta broodingly soulful, toxic, hopeless romantic type you'd usually see get saved in some manic pixie dream girl tropey movie, is in love with a girl he's been friends with since childhood called Nikki. Together they have two other friends named Ian and Sarah. Without being able to properly profess his feelings for Nikki, Bear holds onto it until one faithful day. He ends up purchasing this product called a One Wish Willow, and this product claims to grant one wish and one wish only, and seriously grant it. With that in mind, what do you think Bear does with that? Obviously, he wishes for Nikki to love him more than anyone else in the world. Following that wish, Nikki completely changes overnight and totally becomes a different person. From seeing Bear as a little brother to dating and being utterly devoted to him. Throughout the film, Nikki displays behavior uncharacteristic to her while also snapping back to reality in small blips, showing the real Nikki. It's incredibly disturbing. Spoilers ahead for the rest of the video, if you care about that sort of thing at this point. Nikki ends up going totally bonkers and kills her closest friends in a frenzy of unnatural rage caused by the one wish Willow wish Bear made, and that sucks. Let's cut to the chase. We've all seen the online discourse about this film. The number of times I've seen someone compare Nikki to a person with BPD is far too high for me to even comprehend. I find the BPD baddie and mentally unstable women are hot rhetoric surrounding Obsession remarkably unsettling. The topic of sexual violence and assault against women is a very touchy subject for me because of how it is generally portrayed in film and other mediums of art. It usually isn't done in a tasteful way, especially when written by a man. I feel that Obsession doesn't hit the nail too well on this topic, considering the amount of misinterpreting that's been happening, especially when you bring into account the bit where they explain that Nikki is on drugs or took something that made her feel unwell, and that's the reason why she's been acting strangely. But that's a whole other thing, I guess. The film is obviously from the perspective of a man, that man being Bear, so it's going to feel male gazy anyway, but this film fits perfectly into the male gaze archetype, and I do not like using that term at all. In a way, the audience is bound to lean into Bear's perspective and sort of feel bad for him, but that shouldn't take away from the real horror of the story, the fucked up sort of slow burn of a continuous assault on a woman who has no control over herself anymore. It is deeply upsetting to me to see a fictional woman's unnatural love and desire get reduced to traits that audiences are obviously reading as BPD crazy woman characteristics. The unknown fictional construct of absolute adoration and desire for one person is played out for the horror aspect of the movie, which is cool and all. But since that is the case, what is the point in comparing it to a genuinely real detrimental mental illness? I've been diagnosed with BPD for about 2 years now, and it is a real thing that exists. I don't know how to talk about this. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, it is not fun or cute. It is not a cute thing to live with, and having relationships with people, whether it is romantic or not, is really hard. It's not something that should be romanticized in any way, shape, or form. And this is not like a diss on specific people. I just felt like I needed to say this. It's a problem when it gets to a point where people are like, oh, she's literally me, or oh, I want my girlfriend to be like this, or oh, this reminded me of my girlfriend, or something like that. That's not okay at all. Like, okay, listen. I'm mentally ill, and I'm sure that you can see that by my appearance and by the look of my room. But we shouldn't be saying that stuff. I'm holding a fidget toy. Like, the people that say these types of things, or like will compare mentally ill women to Nikki, are missing the point completely. And I get the point exactly. It's like, ooh, crazy hot person. Mentally ill women are really hot. Crazy women are awesome. Like, no, are you dumb? Like, you sound like a douchebag. Do you understand why this movie is scary besides the jump scares and all the unsettling scenes? Did you watch the movie? And look, I know that I sound pretentious when I say something such as, did you watch the movie? But what else am I supposed to say? I don't know what else I'm supposed to say to you. I wasn't there with you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's the problem. And you see, the issue is, I can't watch the movie. So that's another thing. That's another factor in this, where it's like, how can you ask if I watched the movie if you haven't seen it? Listen, man. Another thing I'd like to talk about is the general idea that men and women will have a different perception of the film. I get that there will be different perspectives. Like, given that women and men experience things drastically, well, that's a little dramatic. Women and men experience things differently. And that's mostly true. Life experiences are different, and when you think about it, the story would be terrifying if Nikki was a man instead. Look, what I'm trying to say is that saying men and women will watch this movie differently is kind of stupid. I'm like just rambling at this point. What I mean is that this should be a scary movie for everyone, and for all the right reasons. For one, it's a horror movie, so that's the most obvious thing. But for two, the story itself is scary because the loss of autonomy over yourself and changing your whole being against your will is a terrifying concept. But listen, I understand that it's a horror movie and people love horror movies. It's just ridiculous to think that that is all Obsession is when it clearly isn't just a horror flick. There's so much more under the umbrella of horror, especially present in this film, that people are completely missing. I'm done talking about this. This could have been a tweet. I thought I had more to say about it. I don't. I'm gonna upload this anyway because I think it would reach an audience, so we're just gonna, yeah. Can't stand by these. Oh, why me, oh, I mean, oh, mommy, don't see why I need all these hands, can't stand by these.